Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
Sphere Exclusives. Looking for exclusive content from your favorite podcasts here at the Sphere? Head over to sphere.tv/Patreon and sign up today. Body by Royce. Body by Royce gives precision instruction to help you reach your fitness goals. Book your consultation today at area code 832-332-2407 or send an email to thebodybyroyce@gmail.com.
Houston Housewives of Finance. Are your unique gifts and talents on increasing your cash flow? Do you desire to belong to a community and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy? Contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
Hello. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of The Docs. This is your home for everything health and wellness on your favorite podcast network, The Sphere. I am back again with my amazing co-host, Dr. Keisha, and once again, for the record, this is your girl, Dr. Kwanzaa, MD, the DJ Doctor, and you can always hit me up on Instagram at dr_Kwanzaa, CWANZA MD, and we are taking questions today. We got some funny questions today, so we're taking your questions live. We're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna keep it chill. We're gonna keep it fun today. Keep it a little light, and let's say hi to our other host here, Dr. Keisha. What's going on?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is Dr. Keisha. I am your pathologist and your health enthusiast. Any questions or concerns you have about health, staying healthy, pathology related, which includes biopsies or any cancer diagnosis, I am here. Please check me out on Facebook at Dance Health Fitness LLC and on Instagram at KDMD_health. So, how was your weekend?
It was good. I can't even actually. What did I do this weekend? Weekend.
That's
it
Saturday
was all
and
a
Sunday.
dream. I don't even remember. It's a blur.
I think I remember you saying you were at work. And you
I did work.
It's kind of segue too. You were saying somebody came in for a B12 shot, I believe.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So this is just like little funny stuff. So this is why I don't remember the weekend, because I got killed at work all weekend. It was like insanely busy, but I'm always appreciative. I love good patient care. And I definitely got my full share in. And yes, someone did check in and ask for a B12 shot. And I was like, baby, you in the wrong location. Try outpatient services, but we're always happy to help. No problem. Anything for our patients. Anything at all. How about you? So I can't say I did anything really. What did I do this weekend? Did I do nothing fun this weekend? I feel like I did.
I think you did.
But
I think I saw you somewhere. You're always going out having fun. It was Valentines, on Thursday?
Yes. Valentine's Day was great. Kept it simple at the house. It was cool.
We walked the dogs.
Huh?
We walked the dogs.
That's fun. That's so sweet.
When you get over 15 years of marriage, the ideas for Valentine's are more simple, I guess.
Oh, no. I mean, actually, you know what I had built? Because I'm a fan of STEM education. I had got these volcanoes that we were supposed to build, but they're still sitting in the kitchen. So we're going to get to that. But yeah, we had a great Valentine's Day. It was real fun. Shout out to Hobby Lobby for those volcanoes. I'm going to try it out.
I am not going to do that at home with my daughter.
Why?
Because she's being very inventive.
Do it with your husband.
Oh, yeah. We went walking with the dogs, but I don't really know. They were kind of enjoying that more than us. And the male dog is really aggressive.
Okay.
And he can pull. So he pulls me. So my husband was using all his strength to hold him back.
Got you.
Yeah. So we're still, I think when they get older and they're not so puppy-like, then we'll have more fun. But right now it's just training.
I mean, but was that romantical?
I know.
Was that
maybe minus the dogs next time.
Yeah, a little hand holding and
Yeah, we couldn't because the dogs were going crazy.
Yeah, that wasn't happening. That's okay. But you know what? Relationships grow and they mature and they change. You have to do all that all the time, right?
Exactly. True.
So what you got up for today? I know that you got a whole slew of questions.
I have. I know.
A little potpourri of questions. Y'all, we're in a silly mood today, so this is going to be funny.
It's, it's what would you ask? So some of them are kind of related to both of us and what we do.
Okay.
And so for you.
Oh, for me.
When should I go to the ER? And it's kind of funny. I'm laughing because you were just saying about the B12 shot. So should I come get my annual?
Your annual exam?
Yeah.
No, you should not. I'm not going to do your annual exam, but I will check and make sure if you're having a discharge, if you're having a bump, a rash, a sore, something that is abnormal or bleeding. I think that's appropriate if you're not able to schedule with your doctor. In general, I would say if you perceive, and so in emergency medicine, we deal with a lot of perceived emergencies and then actual emergencies, and it's subjective. I would say a perceived emergency is something in which, you just really feel like you need to be seen and you cannot wait for a provider to see you. We see patients who come in for perceived emergencies all the time. It may or may not be once we do an assessment, but I never really deter anyone. If it's something lower acuity, I'll say, you could maybe handle this at your primary care doctor, but we're always happy to help. But definitely signs of chest pain, I would say, would be consistent with an emergency. Any kind of neurologic change, stroke-like symptoms, I would say would be indicative of something that is more emergent. A laceration that needs to be sewn up or repaired, a broken limb, like if your leg is going to the left instead of to the right. That's a perfect time to come and see me. Your shoulder's dislocated, you have vaginal discharge, and you can't get into your OBGYN. If your child has fever, confusion, rash, I would say those are all really great indications to come to the ER.
So I have a question, I guess, that goes off of that point. What is the most common problem that you've seen in the ER? Or the top two?
Fever, chest pain, abdominal pain, confusion.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually a combination of.
So not really
those.
Accidents as much.
Yes. Oh, of course. Sure. I mean, in community medicine, you'll see accidents, but they're not as high acuity as, let's say, when I was working at Herman. In which case you're a level 1 trauma center and you're getting, the worst of the worst, people falling off of huge buildings, people impaled on objects. Just all kind of weird stuff that they make TV shows about that are, really sort of horrific. Sure, we see all that. In community medicine, we still see a lot of really bad stuff. It's just you probably don't see quite those dramatic presentations quite as much. But I don't actually miss that, really. I'll be honest. But we do. Of course, we get slip and falls. We get a lot of nursing home patients. So it can be a wide variety of things that we see. Not a most common. We have our days where it's all abdominal pain, I promise, or all fever. Right now it's the flu, strep. So make sure if you have not gotten your flu shot that you go ahead and do that because it is roaring around this time. And you basically have a 2-day window, so you want to make sure you go ahead and get your flu shots. And then also if you are having signs of the flu, which would be fever, cough, body aches, you want to ensure that you're seen by a provider within 2 days to get the most beneficial and efficacious use of the antiviral medication that we use to treat influenza.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because and then you got to give your primer again on what a virus is because I think that's helpful for people and why things like Tamiflu really don't make you feel better. What was that really cool thing you said again about the viruses? How they actually?
So I've
been using it at work.
Yeah. Oh, you have. So I would think of a bacteria as a cell by itself. It operates by itself. It's got the nucleus. It can completely function, right?
Right.
So when it comes in, it's easy to take medicine. Well, not easy, but it's more simple to have medicine that's able to attack that specific bacteria, get into that wall, and kill it. and not affect our own cells. A virus is basically inactive, and it goes into our cells and does its duty.
Right.
So you have to be very careful, right? Do you want to have medicine that's going to basically kill your nice functioning cells?
Right.
So Tamiflu is something that kind of helps early on.
Right.
So if you're already having symptoms and it's been after a few days?
2 days. Yeah.
After 2 days, then it's not going to be effective anyway.
And that's because, again, the virus is already inside of the cells, and so it's not going to be able to capture the virus because it's already in there. So typically what we do tell patients is that you're still going to feel bad for several days, still have fever, still have all of those same symptoms. The only goal for giving you the Tamiflu is to prevent progression or worsening of the disease by basically the virus attacking other cells. So the goal is to kind of cut that down and then decrease the duration of time that you're sick, but it's not going to make you feel better. So sometimes it's really important that we give that expectation up front so that people aren't like, this didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably sick 2 days less than you probably would have been. And so that's about the best we can hope for with the antiviral.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was our first question.
Yeah.
Please keep coming with them. You got another one? You got one for me?
I want to ask, okay, what is your favorite aspect of pathology? Like, what gets your juices going in the lab? This is my own question. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely your question. Okay, and before I answer that, we're going to do a short ad. This portion of the show is sponsored by the Spear Exclusive Team. If you're looking for exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else, look no further, because our Spear exclusives are found only on Patreon. Please check this out. We've got behind-the-scenes shots happening daily at the Sphere Podcast Studios. Each show on the podcast curates episodes that are only delivered to Patreon subscribers. Plus, we deliver the show live from start to finish on our own Discord server. That's exclusive to Patreon family. Sign up today at www.thesphere.tv/Patreon. You can join for $2, $5, or $8 within a tier and get access to all exclusive content we offer at the Sphere. That's me.
Cool.
So what gets my juices going? I think anything diagnosis. So we've got like these gross pathology has a lot of things that remind us of food. Mm-hmm. So like when we look at the organs and we see like a tumor and it follows a certain pathway, and then I look under the microscope and it has these beautiful cells in its textbook, that kind of is like interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's like it's exciting.
But
it's not exciting to know, okay, this is a patient that I'm diagnosing with cancer, but it's very neat that I'm behind the scenes, like that doctor behind the scenes you don't see.
Yeah.
Doing my duty.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. I got an age-old question. What is the difference? Let's see if Dr. Keisha knows this. What's vomiting versus vomiting?
No, I don't know that.
Vomiting? I think that vomiting is a made-up word.
She was trying to keep me on my toes. And
I am.
That did not work.
No, because people... you know, and I laugh about it because people always use that term, and I'm like, where did that come from? I'd never heard that before until I was
maybe it's like
until I was a resident.
Pronunciation issue.
It could be. I honestly don't know, but someone did tell me that vomiting is when you're about to throw up, but not quite throwing up.
So
I think that's
made up.
Yeah, pretty positive. It's made up.
They were trying to convince you,
but I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think that's a true word. So another question, I guess for me, is breast cancer inherited? So actually, the majority of breast cancer is not inherited. Most people that get it do not have a family history. Mm-hmm. Now, just because you have a mother, aunt, or someone down the line that has cancer doesn't mean that it's genetic either.
Okay.
Right? So what you look for genetic is usually a close relative or somebody that's had it at a very early age, and you start to see a pattern from your family tree.
Okay.
So you've got BRCA1 and 2 are the most common, and that stands for breast cancer, BRCA, related antigen 1 and then 2. BRCA 1 and 2 are the ones that we mostly look at. However, that's probably only 10%. 10% of women with breast cancer have these genes. And then you have to be careful because you've even seen there is Jolie, Angelina Jolie. I believe she had a mother that had it. It increases your risk for other cancers, ovarian, endometrial, so you have to follow up very closely.
Okay.
So that's why it's good to know about these. And there's other ones that are related that people have also colon cancer and other types of cancer, and then also have increased risk for breast cancer.
So how do you feel about those mail-in tests that do the screenings, like for colon cancer, rectal cancer?
So a screening is a screening, right? So you have to take everything, I think, into account as a whole.
Okay.
Right. Most cancers are multifactorial. So is there an environmental cause for it? Age-related, genetic, and then other things, or it just happens to be de novo cause for the cancer.
Right.
So when you get this genetic screening, you're getting a template. It's almost like a lab value that's all out of range, right? It doesn't mean that that patient has something wrong if they're doing fine. So you have to be very careful when you're looking at a genetic screening and you think, oh, now I'm going to have cancer. But you know what? To find out the answer to the rest of these questions, you're going to have to subscribe. This is the end of Facebook Live.
It is the end of Facebook Live. I know y'all are sad, but you know what? Call to action. We need y'all to do something for us. We need you to subscribe to our show. So Facebook Live, we thank you for all tuning in, but you've got to subscribe to get the rest of the show. So subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else podcasts can be found. So that means go to the little podcast button on your phone, type in the search word, The Docs, and hit subscribe so you can hang out with us every week so we can bring you some interesting and cool medical information. Then we would love for you to review our show on all these platforms and help us to build a better content for you. And then share the entire show with your family and friends right from the Spear Podcast Network Facebook page where you're reviewing your live right now. And last but not least, support our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week is what we need from you. So you can do a one-time donation at www.thesphere.tv/donate or get exclusive content almost daily via our Patreon tiers. Sign up at www.thesphere.tv/Patreon. Do it. We need your support. We love y'all. We want to hang out. We want to hang out with y'all more and more. So please give us a shout, and we'll see y'all next time.
Goodbye. Peace. Okay, so I got more
Facebook.
questions.
Okay, what you got?
This one I think is more down your alley. Huh?
Okay, let's see what you got.
When should I go to the ER for a burn?
For a burn? That's a great question.
I got burned with my curling iron. I got burned with that old pressing comb?
Oh, man, my mom used to hit me with that all the time. You know what? Honestly, I would say that most burns, if they're not extensive, meaning that they're not taking up a large surface area, like example, for whatever part of the body.
Larger than your palm or large what?
Right. So whatever the area is, so like let's take your palm. If it's less than a quarter of that surface area and you're still having pain and you still have some skin surface there and it's hurting, usually that's a what we would call a first degree burn. We actually use a different sort of categorization in medical literature, but most people are familiar with a first degree burn. I would say a more serious burn would be something that takes up more than a quarter of the area affected. So like more than a quarter of your forearm. So if you divided your forearm here into 4 segments and you're taking up more than a quarter, or it's all the way around the area, or you're not having pain anymore, that's a concern for a burn that has actually injured the nerve endings. And in that case, we worry about the surface size because at that point we probably may need to do a graft or something like that. And then if the pain is intolerable, that would be a great reason to come to the ER because we can offer you supportive medications and also a cream and antibiotics to help prevent infection and give you some good education about how to care for that burn. So it's pretty relative. Obviously, anything involving the eyes, you need to be seen immediately, and that goes for chemical burns or thermal burns. Actually, chemical burns can be even worse because the chemical components can cause blindness and and all kinds of things. So that would be 100% an emergency. Burns inside the mouth, or any sort of inhalation of smoke would be a pretty serious reason that you need to get evaluated immediately for risk of carbon monoxide poisoning and things like that.
Definitely. Sounds good. Okay, next question. What is a biopsy and why do the results take so long?
Yes, what is a biopsy and why do the results take so long? Keisha, are you out at lunch? Are you out?
That's what it is.
Are you out making vegan snacks instead of reading your biopsy reports? No, it's fine.
So a biopsy is basically a sample of a tissue organ. What it can be as superficial as a biopsy of the skin. If you go to your dermatologist and they see a mole they don't like, they shave it off. That's a biopsy. If you happen to go have an endoscopy, or where they put a tube down your throat and they're checking in your stomach and your esophageal lining, they may do a biopsy there. You may not feel that, but they may tell you later that they took samples and they sent them to the lab, which is pathology. Or even more deeper, say they found something in the lungs on x-ray or in another organ, and then they have to do what may be an actual... There's different ones. So there's a tiny, tiny needle. That's called a needle biopsy. Mm-hmm. That biopsy is what actually gets single cells. It's smaller than the needle that's used to take blood.
And that would be used for what type of
Okay, so the tissues that can be used, usually not, it used to be for breast a long time ago. It can be for lymph nodes. If somebody already has cancer and they see a lymph node or they see a soft tissue mass and they're worried about reoccurrence, we'll go in because, of course, you don't want to disturb. You don't want to have to do more than you have to. So a needle biopsy is like sticking almost a sewing needle, smaller than a sewing needle, in your arm or something.
Gotcha.
Very, very tiny.
Okay.
And what happens is that little needle has tiny cells. And I, as a cytopathologist, look at that as single cells, and we're able to tell, okay, yes, there's cancer, there's something abnormal.
Okay.
Just by that. And that's called cytopathology or cytology.
Okay.
Now, if it's something that's bigger, say it's a breast lesion, and they want to actually find out the pattern or how it looks, they take a big core, and that's called a core needle biopsy. So pancreas sometimes can get that. Lungs, they try to sometimes do a tiny needle because they don't want you to have a pneumothorax. Bigger organs may have it. Sometimes if it's really big and they just want it out, they'll go to the surgeon and have what's called an excisional biopsy. So they take the whole thing out, kind of with margins, and it's called excisional biopsy.
Okay. So
with that said, I wouldn't say, okay, if I get the small biopsy, it was just a little mole, it shouldn't take that long. Well, what happens is every single case is treated with care. As soon as it comes into the lab, there's a long process. You've got a skin tissue lesion or something like that. It's sitting in a material, and it has to what's called fix. It has to fix in formalin overnight. So it goes through a machine, it fixes, and then we have a department that basically takes that, puts it in a block of paraffin, and then takes a tiny slice of it and then puts it on a slide. So that could take, a day and a half maybe for everything. And so by the time, if it comes to the lab late, then it doesn't get processed till the next day. If it comes in right, then within the next day, we get it. But then when we get it, depending on, basically queuing and trying to see what we're going to look at first. We take it, look at it. If it's simple, if it's benign, if it's a gallbladder with inflammation, we sign it out that same day.
Okay.
But what happens to the long turnaround time is a difficult case, a case where it's cancer and we need to do markers and other things to make sure we complete the case. Then that's where it can be up to 4 days. And sometimes I've seen 7, 8, 9, a week and a half, the really difficult cases.
Okay.
That aren't your textbook.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We have one more question about dental emergencies. So let me explain something about dental emergencies in the ER, from the ER setting. There's not a lot we can do, y'all. So our biggest, probably, I would say our biggest ability to help in this situation is really pain control and to control infection. But unless there's a dental program at the hospital that you are at, generally speaking, that's not something that we can fix. Now, we can do a lot of things. We can do nerve blocks to help numb up the tooth or area. We can prescribe antibiotics to help get the infection down. And we can certainly, again, pain control is probably the number one thing that most people present to the ER in the middle of the night for dental pain. But it's really, really important to have a backup plan as to how you're going to get your dental care or organized after that, because our resources are really pretty limited. We wish that we could offer better dental care services, but we see that quite a lot, and that's a great question, because we just don't really have access to that unless there's a dental student or something that's rotating, but it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. But I think that's all we got.
Active. Our second ad.
So this portion of the show is sponsored by Body by Royce. Are you looking for an experienced professional to help you maintain or even jumpstart the healthy lifestyle you've been seeking? Well, then look no further. Set up your free consultation today with Royce Thomas, owner of Body by Royce. His precision, instruction, and motivation is just what you need to reach your fitness goals. He will assist you with focus on healthy, all-natural training as well as dietary plans. Whether you need personal, group, corporate, or sports elite training, his expertise will definitely get you on the right track to a healthier lifestyle. Book your consultation today at area code 832-332-2407 or send an email to thebodybyroyce@gmail.com. Boom. And then we got one more sponsor, right?
We have one more sponsor. This portion of the show is sponsored by the Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the U.S. offer financial education? That's 33%. 33% of people do not pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans have credit card debt from month to month. And 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let the Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your own complimentary personal financing strategy. Contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. That's 1-844-700-4463, or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we short and sweet today, y'all, but it's only because we got some really cool content coming up the next few weeks that we're working on pretty heavily. So we just wanted to give a shout out to our listeners who sent us in some questions. So if anytime you have a question for us at the Docs, you're always free to hit us up on the Sphere Network Facebook page. You can hit us up on our individual Instagrams. Again, I'm Dr. Kwanzaa, and you can hit me at Dr_KwanzaaMD. And Dr. Keisha?
Yes, KDMD_health. That's where you can catch me on Instagram. And don't forget to catch me on Facebook at Dance Health Fitness LLC, where I will be talking about health tips, what not to eat on the go, what
I
to
eat my chips.
But of course, everything in moderation. That's good. Please check us out next week and the week after that. We're going to keep trying to give you informative
we got
stuff.
some cool stuff coming up. We got some cool stuff coming up.
And not always in the studio, too. So please check us out.
It's going to be pretty live. So hang with us, and we'll see you next week. Love y'all.
Goodbye.
Peace. Motored on through. Can I eat my chips now?